Well, hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Yes, we are expecting more rain. We are expecting a lot more rain. It's supposed to come tomorrow, I believe. So we've got flooding coming, all sorts of things happening. So if you're in the New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, even Tasmania, stay safe, people. So this is the forecast for Melbourne, just so that you can see. And today it's going to be beautiful. Today looks like it's going to be really nice. And the rest of Thursday, Friday we're gonna start the rain, and it's gonna get bad again. The Bureau of Meteorology, we've just read that Echuca is preparing for the worst. So flood update, flooding persists in Victoria as heavy rainfall predicted for New South Wales and Queensland. So there have been 75 people who have registered themselves at the Moama Evacuation Centre. The SES is also going to expand so this is Moama, which is over the border of New South Wales. So, yeah, I think I read last night that Echuca flooding is expected to come in the coming days. I'm not sure whether Echuca's hit its peak yet, but they're expecting it to hit the peak soon. So Echuca's evacuated. We've got evacuations in Shepparton, evacuations in Rochester, Victoria, and Echuca. So, as I said, New South Wales is on high alert at the moment, and Moama is in New South Wales, just over the border from Victoria. So there's lots of flooding at the moment, evacuation centres, lots of rescues going on. So it's all a bit of a bit tough for some people at the moment. So, you know, yeah, so thoughts are with them. I just come on for a little bit of a chat. I noticed nobody was online. I was actually looking to see if somebody was online, and there was no one there. So if you're watching, come and say hello. I don't really have much to talk about, but we can. We can talk about whatever you like. But as I said, I was just interested in the just put the flooding in here because, as I said, it's really affecting. I mean, we're going to have more rain, so that means that there's a chance that all the places that are flooded and have started to go down already are going to go back up again because of the rain that we're expecting. So we're hitting, we've got to be on high alert. However, there's been some controversy because there was a flood border put in around the race course, and it's caused some I put in a big barrier around it, and it caused some anger. Let me just pull this up because it's very interesting about this. So while Melbourne was flooding, the racecourse was protected, and so this has caused a lot of anger. So this is from The Age. Probing to Flemington Racecourse wall as Maribyrnong mops up. And so there are people saying that because of this wall is why there was the flooding. So Melbourne Water will review whether the controversial construction of a wall around the Flemington Racecourse contributed to flooding that led to evacuation of people from their homes in Maribyrnong on Friday. The Premier said the review would focus on the flood wall and not other concerns about timings of the evacuation warning. I can confirm that Melbourne Water will conduct a thorough review of the flood event and any impact that had. It will do that at arm's length from the government and will report on the process. Maribyrnong residents had campaigned against the wall, which was built in 2007, arguing it would direct muddy flood water away from the natural floodplain and into their homes, which is exactly what happened. A Melbourne spokesperson confirmed the review. Emergency flood response activities are still underway and remain the priority. Melbourne Water undertakes the review as standard practice after every major flooding event has finished. Maribyrnong resident who died 3 years ago was among the campaigners against the wall. His house in Chiefly Drive had been flooded in 84, 93, and he said the wall would remove 1.2 million square metres of floodplain and force water into new housing developments and industrial estates along the way. Shane said, I'm not going to beat the racecourse because they are powerful, but I cannot, in all conscience, not have a crack. Early on Friday morning, the home the Twirrans lived in together for 40 years was inundated. Their son Tyson said the water came far higher than in previous years, which he believes is the direct consequence of the racecourse flood wall. Dad would be dirty, Tyson said. Racing Victoria were worried about getting their grass wet and a little bit muddy. Horses were worth more than our lives. In 2006, as National Secretary of the Australian Workers' Union, Maribyrnong MP Bill Shorten wrote to then State Water Minister John Thwaites, calling for an urgent independent assessment of the modelling of the wall's construction. In the letter, Shorten said many residents were concerned the flood wall would worsen the flood risk. These residents believe that there are some serious flaws in the hydraulic modelling carried out by the consultants for Racing Victoria, Victoria Racing Club and Melbourne Water. In Melbourne's water review of the modelling, he wrote, Shorten called for an independent and comprehensive assessment by former university professor Colin Aspel. But as the state's planning minister, Rob Hulls, rejected the calls, telling Shorten Melbourne Water was satisfied with the assessment. Shorten told The Age on Sunday that while he did not know what role the flood wall played in pushing up water levels, Melbourne Water needed to assess its impact. I did raise concerns 16 years ago, which were dismissed. He said, as locals clean up their homes and the council begins the task of repairing local infrastructure and sporting facilities, I think residents will want to know the cause of what happened. I'm a big fan of racing, but that doesn't mean its interests trump everyone else's. Residents of about 60 homes in a low-lying tidal flat around the Anglers Tavern were forced to leave their homes Friday morning after one of the highest floods in the history of the municipality. The Maribyrnong River peaked at 4.18 metres. The highest recorded event in 1906 was 4.5 metres, followed by 4.26 in 1916 and 4.2 in 1974. April Bedoya and her 10-year-old son were woken before 6 a.m. on Friday and told immediately to evacuate their Newstead home. We grabbed whatever we could shove in the car and took off. We have got maybe 3 days of clothing each, a couple of pillows, my medication and iPad. She said her house was covered in a thick layer of mud and unlivable. We are essentially homeless. I'm losing it every 2 seconds. I don't know what we're going to do. She's on job seeker and was due to have surgery on Tuesday to repair the hole in her heart. It's a pretty rough start, pretty rough sort of 18 months now with this on top of everything. Pardon my French, but you know what. Maribyrnong City Council said a large team of council staff were clearing debris, sweeping affected roads and pressure washing footpaths. While there is still more work to be done, Chiefly Drive is the only area we have not yet managed to get to. The mud there is shin deep. Hard waste collection is scheduled to begin Monday the 17th October and continue through the week. On Sunday, the Maribyrnong Community Centre, Kitty Scott was triaging volunteers to deliver food and help residents mop up. Scott, an administrator of the Footscray and Nidri Good Karma Network, started the Flood Warriors Facebook page on Friday night. By Sunday, it had more than 1,000 members, many of whom volunteered to help with the cleanup. It's like Tinder. We are matching people up, Scott said. There are hundreds out there helping, which is amazing. mainly at the moment, people need help moving mud, silt, and debris. They need manpower, and they need it for several days, not weeks. So that is Maribyrnong. So as I said, while the racecourse was protected, people's homes weren't. So there's a little bit of anger about that. What do you think about them putting a big wall around a racecourse and not, and making it worse? Is it right? Unfortunately, as we know in this world, money talks, and it's really quite sad, actually, that money does talk. But this is interesting, though. This was 3 days ago. This is 3 days ago. Flemington station closed due to flooding. Serious delays getting to the racetrack. Yes, so they may have been able to protect the racetrack, but racegoers are expecting serious delays. So there was a race. So look, it was slowly flooding. So people were having trouble getting to the race course. So what a shame, hey? Yeah, it's not right, Terry C. You're correct. It's not right. It's not right that they have done, that they protect. But, that's what the interesting thing is, though, that it's all about money, unfortunately. So, and look, this is the image that has got everybody. This is the image. I'll show you this image just so that you can see in perspective. It's an aerial image of, so we have these floods, okay? And there's this image. So here you can see all the water. This is all flooded here, and this is the bit that's not flooded is the racetrack, right? So
the northern Victorian town of Shepparton is facing devastating flooding tomorrow morning as the region braces for the Goulburn River to hit a
yeah, so Shepparton's had floods. But look, as I said, this picture is quite damning. So you've got all these houses flooded, right? All here, right? So you imagine how much the water would have been able to have spread out. So this is what has got everybody angry, this picture. So this was, what date was this? So this was October 18, so 2 days ago. So the devastating aerial images laid bare the shocking extent of the raging floodwaters that surrounded the controversial flood wall at the Flemington racecourse. While the Melbourne Cup ground was green and tracks clearly visible from the sky, it was surrounded almost entirely by brown floodwater from the swollen nearby Maribyrnong River. Only the tops of a few trees and sheds could be seen. So that tells you how high it was. While the racecourse's grandstands appeared that they would on a sunny spring carnival event. Residents of Maribyrnong have been fuming over the course's flood wall, which many believe have exacerbated the effects of the flood and pushed the water towards their home. So, as I said, the Premier announced on Sunday a review would be conducted whether the flood wall worsened and damaged the homes. The Victorian Greens have called on Racing Victoria to pick up the bill for the damage. Meanwhile, the Melbourne Racing Club chairman, Mike Simons congratulated his predecessor and the Victorian Racing Club Committee for their investment in the wall 15 years ago. Credit to the former chairman and the VRC for the considerable investment in the Bund Wall to prevent the 100-year flood event from impacting the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Remember? Look at that. His post left Melbourne residents fuming. So that shows you the extent of the flooding. I mean, you've got roofs here. I mean, there's some cars there. That's all flooded there. Yeah, great success in redirecting floodwater away from natural water catchment plain and into people's houses then that they had to evacuate. But thank goodness the horses have somewhere to run next week, one person sarcastically remarked. Yes, so thankful. An open patch of empty land was saved and the water directed into people's homes instead, someone else said. So do they get credit for flooding the neighbouring houses? A resident told the Herald Sun they weren't certain if the wall made the flooding worse for residents, but felt a bit dodgy. It's hard to say what would have happened if the floodgates weren't there because there's so much rain, but the fact that it's pushed all the rain back on us is a bit dodgy. I know that Victoria would have lost millions of dollars if the Spring Racing Carnival was cancelled, but it's going to cost millions either way in damages to the home. Interesting though, here's something that I would have liked to, I mean, imagine though, if they'd opened up the racetrack as an evacuation centre. I mean, that may have helped, but yeah. So that's the big controversy at the moment. But those photos, in my opinion, are quite damning to the effect of it, and it does look like that the wall has actually made it worse from the looks of it. So yeah. So anyway, that is what's happening with that. As I said, we've got more rain to come. Hello, Laura. So we've got more rain to come, and we're expecting probably more flooding, unfortunately. So, as I said, Echuca, which is on the border of Victoria and New South Wales, Echuca and the Murray River, they're evacuating at the moment. You've got the river and the Riverina River. Shepparton is evacuating, has evacuated. There's lots of places that are really struggling at the moment, and yeah, we've got more rain on the way. So I think they said our dams, our water catchment areas are full. They've actually had to open up the, the whatever they're called to let the water out because there's so much water at the moment. They're having to just let it all go. And we've not been in a situation where we've had so much water. Like usually we are, usually we're on restrictions. So usually, but not now. We have too much water. There's nowhere for it to go. So so they've just released an alert. There are 49 warnings at the moment. And so there's been evacuations. So to evacuate immediately in Barmah East and Lower Moira on the Murray River, upstream Echuca and Echuca Village have to evacuate. 2 areas under emergency warning, which says it's not safe to return yet, Bambatha and Rochester. It's too late to leave in 2 areas, Shepparton and Kerrang. And they're telling people in Loddon Weir and Campaspe River downstream of Rochester to move to higher ground. There's also watch and acts in place for Murrumpa, Murchison, Seymour and Charleston. So Charlton and Seymour have already been evacuated, have already had flooding. So yeah, it's not good. So there's been a flood update. 1,000 impact assessments have been conducted for flood properties and hopes the waters will receive enough in Shepparton by the weekend to allow residents back to their home. 200,000 sandbags have been used around Echuca as it prepares for serious flooding as the Murray River rises. In fact, I saw pictures of yesterday. They were putting out a call for sand because they'd run out yesterday. So this is the aerial shot. That's in 2021, 2022. That was Seymour on Friday. So that was flooding in Seymour. So yeah, so we've got flood warning. As I said, we've got more rain to come. I know Plan to Create was surrounded by flooding the other day. But she's safe. So, and unfortunately, there have been 2 people that have passed away in the floods. The last one was yesterday. Someone passed away in Echuca. So, unfortunately, a 65-year-old was found near his empty property yesterday morning. So, and somebody was found on their property in Shepparton. So, it's really quite sad, actually. So we've had 2 people pass away, and it's that they're saying it's a 1 in a 100-year flood. So look, we at the moment, as I said, other than around the Maribyrnong, which is around the racecourse, the city's doing pretty okay. Although some of our neighbouring suburbs had to evacuate with the Werribee River rising. So yeah, we've got more rain to come. We have got warnings. So I'll just show you this is the metro. This is the metro area. So this is where I live. This is and we use degrees Celsius. So today we're having 23 degrees Celsius and sunny. 95% chance of showers, chance of a thunderstorm, up to about 15 mils Friday, possibly 15 mils on Saturday, 5 mils, possibly 5 mils, possibly 20 mils on Monday. Monday's going to be a horrible day. 10 mils on Tuesday, Wednesday up to 4 mils. So there's quite a bit of rain coming again. And if we go to, so this is the Bureau of Meteorology. This is the government. They look after all our weather forecasts. So if we go to radar, so that's Australia. And we come out here. Well, let's go to national because there's quite a bit of rain around. So look at all of this. All of this is coming down. So this is what we're going to get. So there's lots of rain at the moment. There's flood warnings in Queensland. There's flood warnings in New South Wales, and it's coming down. So and yeah, so I don't have to be talking about this. It was just a subject I thought I'd talk about while I was, while people were coming on. So the areas that are flooded are up here. There's Shepparton. I don't know. Yeah, Shepparton and Echuca up here are flooded. Benella's been flooded. They got flooded. Who else got flooded up here? Because that's the border there. You can see there's the New South Wales border there. Yeah, so Echuca currently has a flood alert at the moment. On the Murray River. So Seymour got flooded. Rochester got flooded. So yeah, all around here. It's not pretty. So yeah, look, they're trying to get people out as quickly as they can. But as I said, they give you a watch and act, a get to higher ground. it's too late to leave. So, or evacuate, and then it's too late to leave. So there's forewarnings that they try to give you beforehand. So I haven't checked Twitter or anything today. So anyway, I thought, thank you for watching. I thought I'd just do this really short, quick live, because when I'm studying, I like to listen to streams, and there was nobody on that I was listening to. So I thought I'd come on and have a bit of a chat and see what you wanted to talk about. So, but you're right, Terry C. The racetrack being protected is what greed does. And look, there's millions and millions of dollars coming in over the Melbourne Cup. So the Melbourne Cup Carnival essentially starts, or has started. It started last Saturday. It goes all the way into early November. And it's all about horse racing. And we actually get a public holiday on, so I live in Melbourne, and we get a public holiday on the first Tuesday in November for the Melbourne Cup. Hey, hope you are safe. Praying for all in the weather. Yes. So yes, so we get a day off for a horse race in Melbourne. We do call ourselves the sporting capital of the world. I mean, we do get it, and we also get a public holiday for our national sport of Australian rules football. We get a public holiday is for that. So yeah, it's a public holiday. Oh, look, Laura, I love days off. I love public holidays. I'm still pushing to have the Queen's birthday in memory of the Queen, and then the King's birthday. I'm still pushing for that, but I'm not going to get it. So, but it's only the metro area. I remember when I lived in country Victoria, I used to hate it because all the metro people got the day off, and we didn't. So, oh dear. Yeah. So, and I'm actually working on a Melbourne Cup Day. We should have more. Oh, look, as I said, I'm all for holiday. Plus, we get penalty rates, so we get double time. So on a public holiday, you get paid. So if you're paid, whatever you're paid an hour, it's doubled an hour. Because it's a public holiday, and so some places will put a surcharge on for public holidays. They'll say your bill will be increased by 10% for public holidays because we could pay our staff extra, which I don't necessarily agree with, because but I'll be working, so I will be getting penalty rates. So yeah, my exams. Look, I've done all right. I've got my last one this afternoon. The last one is this afternoon. So it's really interesting because one of my units was to set the law and policy over misleading conduct. And it was interesting because just as I was about to sit my exams, this ASIC sues Harvey Norman over ads for interest-free purchases. Misleading conduct. The corporate regulator has launched legal action against the Harvey Norman and credit provider Latitude, accusing the retailer and finance company of misleading and deceptive conduct over an advertising campaign offering 60 months interest-free purchases for household goods. This is exactly what I was studying. So my eyes lit up and I went, oh, this is cool. So in documents filed with the federal court on Tuesday afternoon, this last Tuesday, the Australian Securities Investments Commission said the ads, which appeared in newspapers, on radio and TV between the 1st of January 2020 and the 11th of August 2021, misled consumers into thinking they could buy goods from Harvey Norman by making 60 equal monthly payments. In fact, the offer required buyers to sign up for and use a credit card offered by Latitude, which carries fees and charges that could result in them paying hundreds of dollars more than the sticker price of the goods they bought. ASIC is concerned the advertising did not provide consumers with the full picture, that they could only use the interest-free payment method by applying for and using certain Latitude credit cards, the Deputy Chair of ASIC, Sarah Court, said. These credit cards, ASIC alleges, attracted substantial fees over the course of the 60-month payment term and exposed consumers to the risks of incurring further debts and charges, as well as potentially affecting their credit rating. In court documents, ASIC alleges that although disclaimers that terms and conditions and fees applied were delivered in small print in the newspaper and tiny text in the TV ads, and read at a greater speed and in a more subdued tone in the radio ads, the allegedly misleading effect was not clearly and prominently corrected by any qualifying statements elsewhere in the advertisements. Fees charged on the card required to take advantage of the offer, the Go MasterCard, varied over time. Some users were charged an establishment fee of $25 and a monthly fee of $5.95, while others were charged a monthly fee of $8.95. Additionally, monthly fees applied when the balance of the card reached more than $10. These fees were substantial and could compromise a substantial proportion of overall payments, ASIC said in court documents. For example, a consumer who, during the relevant period after 16th of March 2021, purchased a refrigerator with a retail price of $1,000 using the payment method and paid the 60 monthly installments on time would have to pay a minimum of $1,537, which would include $537 of monthly account service fees over the 60-month period. ASIC asked the court to order Harvey Norman and Latitude to pay a fine and take out corrective advertising 3 times a week for 2 weeks, admitting to misleading and deceptive conduct. The regulator also asked the court for an order forcing the companies to prominently disclose terms, conditions, and fees in future ads. Harvey Norman is one of Australia's biggest advertisers across print, radio, newspapers, and TV. The marketing material attached by ASIC included front page ads, wraps, and other display ads that appeared in News Corp, Channel 7, West, and 9 entertainment papers, as well as TV ads that appeared on 7 and radio ads that were played on stations owned by Southern Cross Off Stereo Station. In a statement, Latitude said that it takes the allegations very seriously and has worked cooperatively with ASIC during its investigation. Latitude is now reviewing ASIC's claim and will not be commenting at this stage, given the matter is before the courts. And Harvey Norman's executive chairman, Gerry Harvey, has been contacted for comment. So that is essentially what my exam was on. It was sort of about misleading and deceptive conduct, whether you were given a scenario and you had to look at the laws and go, was it misleading and deceptive? I mean, from what ASIC has alleged, it would seem that it was. Yes, but I mean, look, it's interesting because I'm just looking here. Like if I look down here, they've been done a few times. 2016, they were ordered to pay $286,000. They were in 2016. This one says they'll find 1.25 for misleading conduct. That's the current one. There's 7 cases here. 2019. So, it's not. They're not a first-time offender it would seem. So I'm just seeing what we've got here. See if we've got any of the court documents here. So, but yeah, that's what my exam was on: misleading, deceptive conduct. Whether the terms, it's like when they do 2000. This one's a 2011 one. So, yeah, Harvey Norman's been done a few times. So, Australian Consumer and Competition Commission versus Harvey Norman Holdings. This was 2011. This was a judgment. So, this one was in Queensland. So okay. So this was over the respondent by representing in trade or commerce, which is what the Australian Consumer Law says, in trade or commerce, in a catalogue cause to be published and distributed by public by Harvey Norman in metropolitan and regional areas throughout each state in Australia and on its website between the 3rd of September 2010 and 19th of September 2010, that potential purchasers from Harvey Norman franchise stores of 3D-enabled televisions advertised in the 3D catalogue would be able to use the said television to watch the Australian Rules Football and National Rugby League Grand Finals in 3D format in their local area, when in fact, when it was the fact, and Harvey Norman knew it to be the fact that the Australian Communications Media Authority would issue licenses for 3D broadcasts to 7 Network and 9 Network for Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Newcastle, Adelaide, Perth only. And neither grand final was to be broadcast in 3D. So, yeah, so they've been caught out before by the looks of it. So, yeah, they've been fined. So it just would seem that. But that's, as I said, that's what my exam was on. So, and my final exam today is on criminal law, my criminal law one. So yeah. Anyway, I've got to get ready for the day because it's 9:05. Well, yeah, I've got a few hours before my I got a little bit before my exam starts, so I'd probably need to have a shower. I need to go for a walk. When I go for a walk, that's usually my exam preparation, and clear my head and prepare my notes for that. And then I'm actually, ironically, I'm working at the Melbourne Cup and the Spring Racing Carnival over the next few weeks. And yeah, and then I don't know how often I'll get on over the next little while, but yeah, I just make sure you hit like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. There's the ways to do it down here. I don't beg, I don't push it enough, but yeah, I just really appreciate everybody, and I want to thank you for watching, and I'll keep you updated with all the flooding. As I said, I'm pretty okay here where I am. I'm actually closer to the ocean, so most of our rainwater goes out into the ocean, so we're okay. But as I said, there are parts that aren't, and we've already had 2 people lose their life in the floods. So, yeah. So thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.